Hello, everybody. It's Veronica from Hearts, Minds, and Flowers here. How are you today? Um, I've popped in on this little video to do a class with you, and I'm going to record it. I don't have anyone here with me, so it should be as speedy as it can be. About 30 minutes is my target, so we'll see how we go. And it's just me and my little friend. So we're going to talk today about essential oils and your four-legged family. In particular, we're going to talk about puppies. So let's get stuck in and let's see if I can keep to my promise of 30 minutes. You never know. I've done this class with some beautiful Bedlington Terrier owners, and you can see on the cover here my beautiful son Oscar a few years ago. He's a bit older than that now. And our beautiful Jack, who is a Bedlington Terrier, and sadly left us a couple of years ago. But my beautiful Jack, until he was 14 and a half, was my guinea pig, and I used a lot of oils with him. So I thought I would pay homage to my beautiful man on this top page. Hey, that's oh. All right, so our goals for today, guys, is we're going to demystify some essential oils and the part they can play in supporting our pups for a better life. We're going to talk about essential oils and how they work, that not all essential oils are created equal. So why I choose doTERRA, and I am actually a doTERRA wellness advocate and have been for the last 6 years or so. I'm going to teach you how to introduce an oil to your bestie, and little old Fergus here is going to do his deal for us. The 3 ways we can use them, the do's and don'ts with pets, and what if there's an adverse reaction. The top oils that I suggest you have in your oily toolkit for your four-legged puppy friend and why. And then we'll look at ways to purchase, next steps, resources. And if this was a class with real humans, we'd be talking Q&A. You're most welcome to message me at any point and ask about any questions you have. I'm always here to help. I'd now ask who's tried an essential oil with their family. So we'd make sure that we cover any specific issues you have, but not applicable today. So we'll move on. Just before I start this part, I just want a little bit of a disclaimer for you all. So I mentioned I'm a wellness advocate with doTERRA and have been for the last 6 years. I've used essential oils since I was in my 20s. So a long journey, but I am not a medical professional. I am not a vet. I absolutely love our medical professionals and our vets when we come to them with what our puppy needs. But I do love them. There's no but to that, actually. And when it comes to health, whether it's yours, your family's, or your four-legged families, of course, it's a partnership. It's a partnership between you and your health professionals. And all I would ask that is that when you are looking at your essential oils and all the beautiful things that go with them, that you're making sure that you are engaging with your medical professionals and that your medical professionals are open to the wonderful world of oils, because that's the magic combo, isn't it? So when I talk about essential oils and I talk about wellness, I'm talking about a holistic approach. So we're looking at the whole animal or the human instead of just managing symptoms. We're considering the connection between mind, body, and spirit, because that's as true for us as it is for our babies. It's proactive, not reactive. So we're not waiting for a crisis before we're actually doing some things and putting good things in place to ensure that we are as well as we can be. It focuses on natural solutions that do not harm either us or the environment. And there you go. So what are essential oils? Well, they're the gifts of the earth. In fact, that's what doTERRA actually means. They're natural aromatic compounds that elicit powerful responses. They're extracted from plants, so their uses go beyond their fragrant appeal. They don't just smell nice. Everyone goes, oh, they smell nice. Yes, but I love that they smell nice. Not all of them do, actually. Some of them smell quite funky. But they're about, even when you smell them, they're actually wandering up your nose and doing amazing things to your body. So there's a lot of trends at the moment towards more holistic approaches and growing scientific validation. driving a rediscovery of the profound health benefits and wellness benefits of essential oils. That's a really long sentence, which just means that there's a lot going on around the wellness space at the moment. What is it? It's February 2024. And I tell you what, if you're into wellness, I was flooded in January with all these amazing things. I bet you were too. So for a grown human, it takes about 20 seconds for an oil to enter your bloodstream, about 20 minutes for it to be circulated, and about 3 to 4 hours for it to be expelled. So you can imagine if we're talking about a little human, little four-legged puppy human, and that's what it does for an adult. Gosh, it's going to be zoomy for a little pet, right? So we always talk about using your essential oils little and often. Less is more. And there's a pretty picture of a couple of very beautiful oils. I'm pretty sure this one on the right's lavender. And there's got to be a mint. Do we think it's peppermint? Not quite sure. So why do I choose doTERRA essential oils? There's lots of oils out there. And I do not care which ones you use as long as they are as good as these. Okay, and I'll tell you a bit about why these are good and why they're the only ones that I use. So co-impact sourcing, what we believe in doTERRA, and this is one of the reasons why they set themselves up 15 years or so ago separately, is that an oil is the most potent when it's grown in the place it should be grown naturally. You need less less intervention in order for them to grow happily and thrive. And also you're going to get the best chemistry. And a lot, you'll hear me talk about chemistry quite a lot. This is what we're very keen on in good old doTERRA land. It's all about the chemistry. So we want to be able to source the product where it naturally grows. And in the cases of essential oils, that often means in developing countries. So we're always looking at how we can sustainably source those oils from farmers in areas that can be quite challenging. So we're talking places like Haiti, as an example. And we're trying to make sure that we're getting stable incomes for these families around the world. And that's where we partner with growers, and it's called co-impact sourcing. Purity guaranteed. All of our oils are tested and tested and tested. There's about 50 or so tests that are done inside doTERRA and outside the doTERRA offices by a third party. We call them CPTG, certified pure tested grade, and that means that when you are getting an oil, so let's look at something like a lemon. When you're getting an oil, all that's in this bottle is lemon oil. There's no fake substitutes. There's no synthetics. There's no swapping out one for another because it's got a similar chemistry. We have done all these tests to ensure that this is lemon. And not only is it lemon, but it's lemon with the right chemical constituency to do what we say it can do for you. If for whatever reason, something has happened with that particular crop and we're not getting the right chemistry and the right ticks when it's being tested, and this will be unsold. The farmer will still be paid because it's really important that they've done their best, and that for many people, this is their income, right? And not having it is a real problem. So they'll still be paid, but then doTERRA will unsell that oil because you're consuming essential oils every day. When you have a can of soft drink, when you're having a mint lolly, and so basically all they do is unsell it to companies that can use it for those kind of things, but not therapeutically. So that's what CPDG means. Quality unmatched. As I was talking about, we source products from where they would naturally thrive. So that's over 45 countries. So we have this global botanical network. We're transparent. So the results of those tests that I talked about are actually available to you on a separate site called Source to You. And each one of these bottles has got a batch number, the newer ones on the side and the others on the bottle. And you can pop that batch number in and it's going to give you the chemistry for that particular batch. The other thing which is very close to my heart is Healing Hands. So we have a foundation in doTERRA that is funded by the international part of doTERRA. So all of the admin is just funded by doTERRA itself. And then any money that we raise is then distributed to various charities. We actually fund the donations to the charities in a couple of ways. You can see a couple of our products there, the Hope Touch and the Rose Hand Lotion. Both of those products, the sales of that go into Healing Hands to actually be able to give donate that to other charities. In Australia, we also have Healing Hands registered as an Australian registered gift charity with the Commission. So you can pop a donation to Healing Hands on your regular monthly order, and you will at the end of the year get a little certificate letting you know how much you've donated. So you can use that as a tax deduction. The work that they do. So they do so much work around children, releasing them from child slavery and trafficking. We do a lot of work with, partner with a lot of charities around DV, domestic violence, supporting all sorts of weird and wonderful charities in that space, like Friends with Dignity. The work that I do with Share the Dignity, we've had matching, which Healing Hands will do for their wellness advocates. If you raise money, our tribe raised money to pop a couple of Share the Dignity vending machine in, and Healing Hands came to the party and matched that for us. So we were able to put 2 machines in. So Healing Hands is a really important reason why I chose this company, and is really an indication of what they try and do in this world. So that's why I choose doTERRA. So when I say I don't mind what oil that you use, we're going to focus on doTERRA today, but I want you to make sure that at least in terms of the testing and the transparency of your oil, you're knowing that what is in that bottle that you're picking up is actually the oil, and it is the right potency for you to use therapeutically with you and your animals. This is the only one that I've found that has all of those things, and that's what appeals to me. But yeah, I'd love to hear if you found another. So how do you introduce an oil to your pup? Well, let's have a little look. I want you to do your research, but please don't Dr. Google it. Chat to your health professionals if you need to. I've got some reputable resources at the end that I'll share with you. I follow a beautiful vet in America, Dr. Janet Rourke, who's part of our animal advisory committee in doTERRA. So she is my go-to, but do your research. Then choose one oil. Now, the one that I always love to start with pups is normally balanced, because so many dogs are anxious in whatever way, whether that's fireworks, with strangers, with being left alone. And I use this a lot with Jack. So choose your one oil. We're only going to do one a day with a dog. We're not going to introduce them to 25. And choose your moment. We want the pup to be relaxed. We don't want to try this when I've already got, in particular with anxiety, a dog that's kind of way up here. We want them to be in their normal place when we try it. So I'm going to keep the lid on. Now, I wouldn't do this with 2-legged humans. I would actually take the lid off. But let's think about nose for a moment. These babies, when you talk about your nose and how it works, if ours was a dot in terms of the receptors we have that smell, a dog's going to have a tea towel size. So they are so receptive to smell, and we know that, right? So when we introduce an oil to a dog, we don't need to take the top off. That's going to freak the hoot out of most of them. You want to leave the lid on. Then I'm going to get down to the level of my pup in a nice relaxed state, and in a calm and loving way, I'm going to pop the oil bottle near their nose. Don't stick it up there. That's not a good idea, but in a nice comfy way. Now watch what they do. You're going to get a yes or a no. You know your dog. You know what yes or no means to your dog. If it's a yes, right, we're going to move on, and we're going to show you how to use this with your pup. If it's a no, set it aside, and when the time's right, try another. Okay, you may want to give them a moment. We tried it with a pup yesterday. You know, a Betty, we had a laugh about this about Betties, because, you know, they can be a bit, you know, side-eye. They're not the most gregarious pups sometimes. So I used to try it with Jack, and, you know, it was either, if he didn't like it, he would gently jump off my lap and zoom away. If he liked it, I'd kind of stay. If I tried this on bulldog a while ago, and it was basically, can I eat the bottle? You know, it depends on your dog, its personality, and what it kind of does to show you yes or no. I'm getting a scratch now. So I'm going to assume that Fergus here actually said yes. And yeah, okay, I can perhaps use my use that oil with me, Veronica. So how can I use it? Well, there's 3 different ways that we can use oils. Not all oils can be used in the 3 ways. So you want to make sure that you've had a look at your bottle to see what it tells you in terms of how it can be used. So it can be used aromatically. And this is so easy. This can be simply a drop on your hands. So balance, let's try it. So balance on my hand. Patient, wait for it. Rub it together. That's how I might breathe it in. But with my puppy, I might just gently cup it over his little nose while I'm giving him a cuddle, right? So that's one way to do it. I can also pop it into some hot water and steam so it goes up his lovely nose if that's something that works with you. You can diffuse it. I've got a diffuser going on here, and we'll talk about diffusers and how they work a little bit later on. But all we're doing is we've got cold water in. Oh, it's not going to let me do it. I just put cold water, it's not hot, in a diffuser, and it would go in there with my essential oil, my balance, and on it goes. We'll talk a little bit about diffusing and safety for dogs a little later on. You can even use a fan and a cotton ball. Less is always more, but there's lots of ways that you can use it aromatically. Topically, that means on our skin. Now, Balance already has some fractionated coconut oil in it, which is what we call a carrier oil. And we're going to pretend this pup's a decent size, so I don't need to dilute it anymore. I put my drop on my hands, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make baby a little cutting, and I'm going to pop it on its back, down its spine. If it's got some wacky doodle fur, you can give it a rub, whatever your doggy likes, on its ear tips, and on its back paw pads. You're basically putting it in places where it can't go lick crazy. You can also put a drop in the shampoo and conditioner, especially if you're trying to deal with an itch. You can use it as a cold or hot, not compress. You can spritz bedding, so pop it in some water and a spray bottle and go spritzing, which is really great for something like a lemon. What I want you to make sure that you're doing is you are doing it with dilution, and we'll talk dilution a little bit later as well. What dilution is going to do is just make it a little safer for you and for your little friend. When you're using things topically, you might want to avoid if you're using those topical meds or dermal patches, including topical flea and tick. You can, of course, still use some oils, many oils, in fact, but you just want to be careful of that if you are using it, and do a bit of research, reach out, and we can find out if that is going to cause any issues. You can also use oils, certain oils, as a food flavoring. For example, I put lemon in my water every day. But if you've got a pup, if you think about their nose and you think about what the oil is going to do, if I put it in their water bowl and they stick their nose in, they're not going to get the water, they're going to get all this oil on their nose. And we've talked about their nose being sensitive. We don't want that happening. So I've got water crossed out here. I would never put an oil into a dog's water bowl. There are some instances where we would add it to food. Also, you can pop a drop with some carrier oil if that's appropriate, rub it on their gums, or use it in a capsule with a carrier oil. But this needs a lot more research and attention, and you need to be aware of what that oil is going to do and whether it's right for your baby. Okay, so that's the area I want you to just take a little bit more care around. We talked about applying topically and using a carrier oil. You'll find that doTERRA, we talk about fractionated coconut oil quite a lot. This is the little bottle that comes as a little sample with some of the things we'll look on to later, and this is the normal size bottle. The reason we use fractionated coconut oil is because it's easily absorbed into the skin. It softens and soothes any dry skin. And what it's doing is it itself is odorless and colorless, so it's not going to affect the smell of the oil. It also remains liquid. So there's no chemical nonsense going on here. All it is coconut oil that's been heat treated, and it no longer is, you can see it's not white, it's clear, and temperature doesn't affect it. It doesn't go hard, right? It's all just really easy to use in a squeezy bottle, or you can get a little push doobie to put on it. So it's really easy there. We use that because when we pop it on our skin, it's going to do a couple of things. It's going to decrease the risk of us having a reaction. Okay, it's diluting. It's going to keep it in one spot. So we'd use it if we've got pain in a pain point and we want that oil to kind of stay there a little longer. That's going to help us with that. And also, oils are very volatile, so it stops so much of the oil just flashing off, and you're getting more that will actually stay. We don't use fractionated coconut oil when we're consuming an oil. That's absolutely not. It's just for topical use. So this is a little dilution guide, which is really handy. You can see there's lots of animals down here. But we're just focusing on dogs today. And you can see I've boxed what tends to be the way that we use our oils with our animals, depending on the size of the dog. So it's common sense. If you have a smaller dog or a younger dog, you're going to want to increase the ratio of fractionated coconut oil to oil. So smaller drops, small number of drops, large amount of fractionated coconut oil for small dog or young dog, or a dog that has a particular sensitivity, okay? As you get into robust, healthy, happy, big dogs, you're going to maybe increase that ratio. But again, it depends on the oil that you're using. I'll talk a little bit about hot oils as we go through some of the oils, and that just means that they're very, very potent. I mean, they're all potent, but a hot oil is going to have an increased risk of having some kind of reaction. So, I don't know, peppermint is a hot oil, for example. So if I was using lavender, where it's a gentle oil, much less risk of reaction, to peppermint, which is a hot oil, where I've got a higher risk of reaction, I'm going to use less oil in this one than this one, and I'm going to use more fractionated coconut oil in this one than this one, if that makes sense. So this is talking about the ratio, and yeah, as you can see, we've got a little spiel on here about weight, talking about hot oils, and it is common sense, but less is always more. Do's and don'ts for your oils. So you want to be storing your oils with your caps on in a box, and you want it to be animal proof. When you're using, we always want to introduce an oil first, which we talked about before. They're potent babies, so we want to use less and build up. And I want you to use quality trusted oils, okay, which is why I advocate for these. I want you to dilute appropriately according to the age, size, and health history. You know your dog. Don't use oils. You notice when I was dealing with Fido here, I was on the places where he couldn't get to. Ear tipping's excellent. I'm not using any oils, diluted or not, near any sensitive areas. So that's eyes, ears, nose, genitals, ouch, right? When you're diffusing, and you see a lot of drama on Google about diffusing with your animals, God help me. I have never had an issue, but again, it's common sense. You're going to make sure there's fresh air in the room. Your dog has an exit. If it's a new oil, you're going to observe your dog's behavior. And if you're concerned, you're going to turn that diffuser off. Always use a water diffuser on an intermittent setting. And what that means is that you're going to use a diffuser like our Lumo, which has got the ability, you just whack. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but yeah, there's a little plate. So cold water goes in, the plate moves, it creates little water droplets coming out the top. It looks like steam, but it's not hot. So out it comes like a little burst. When I say intermittent, the Lumo has a little switch on it, and so does our Pedal 2.0 now, that allows you not to do a continual burst, but just bursts. I think this is intense 5-minute intervals. Yeah. So this will go for 10 hours, but on 5-minute intervals. So you want that because you don't want that overall burst in the room. You want it to be burst release, because it's going up and it's in the atmosphere. Okay. I wanted you to have it in a safe space where it can't be knocked over by a pet. It's particularly important for cats, which we're not talking about today, because they are a little bit special. But yeah, I don't want it knocked over. It's not going to be a drama in that, especially if using one of our ones that are high quality plastic. When it goes over, to be cold water and a bit of oil, but then it can be licked up, right? Especially if you've got cats who like to climb. So make sure it's in a spot where that is not even an issue. We've talked about not putting oils in your dog's water bowl. And I only want you to use it with food if you've done your research and you are talking with your holistic animal practitioner about that. If your dog's on any medications or has pre-existing conditions, check with your vet, just as I would ask you to do, to check with your doctor. So what do you do if you have an adverse reaction? Well, skin irritation is the most common. Dilute with your carrier oil, not water, because what water does is it drives it further into your skin faster. I want you to be using fractionated coconut oil or any carrier oil, even your bottle of olive oil, if that's what you can get your hands on, and pop that on there for them. And most are going to just pass nice and easily within 24 to 48 hours. I myself have never experienced it, but of course, these things happen with humans as well as pups. You've got to stop using an oil if there are any of these signs of distress. I'll let you use them. And as always, get them into fresh air. If prolonged or worried, again, call your medical practitioner. There are some oils that I do not want you using topically or internally with dogs, and they include birch, tea tree, and wintergreen, and any of the combinations of oils that might have those with them. Use caution with your hot oils, which we've talked about, and they'll need more dilution, and they can include oregano, cassia, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, and thyme. When you're diffusing, there are a few extras there that some are all the same oils, right? But you want to be very use some caution when you're diffusing around your pups. Tea tree again, cassia again, cinnamon again, oregano and thyme again. You're getting a theme, right? Any pre-existing conditions, there may be a few more to avoid, so just reach out. And if your dog's pregnant, there's a few more on the list. So let's talk about what oils you can use safely, beautifully, and what I'd recommend. How are we going for time? How am I doing? Right, so I'm going to go through some that are in our top 10 that are suitable for dogs. We've already talked about balance, but we'll probably just recap. The first one I'm going to start with is lavender. It's such an easy one to use, and you can use it in 3 ways. It is the go-to for skin. You'll have a love-hate relationship with lavender, but please have a smell of doTERRA's lavender first before you go. It is the one we have. It is so beautiful that often we'll use it neat on our own skin for anything to do with skin. And you can see the list there. It's also really calming. So when we've got stress and anxiety, we talked about balance, but you can also very much start with lavender. It's really good for headaches for you. You can tell if your pup's got a headache, good luck. It's very good for just sleep. And with peppermint and lemon, fab for allergies and ear infections. Now, we never put anything inside our ear canal, all that of our pup. But what I would do is if this little munchkin had an ear infection, I'd be diluting some lavender with some fractionated coconut oil, and I'd be going around the ear and down the little neck, just as you would with your human, right? You're going around the ear bone. You're not going inside. Okay, you're just giving some love, because as soon as that oil's on there, it's going to start going in. It's going to go into the bloodstream. It's going to circulate. You don't need to be pouring it in somewhere. Please don't do that. So that's lavender. Oops. Frankincense. Oh my God, this is the king. Again, fabulous for skin. He is such a joy. Okay, 3-way oil. If in doubt, get Frankie out. That's what we say all of the time. Great for cellular function, immunity, nervous system. It's calming. It is the step up from lavender for skin. For cysts, for surgical sites, if you've got arthritis and joint pain, bladder and urinary tract infections, another good for ear infections, and also may help with seizures. So Frankie is an absolute beautiful bubba. We've talked about balance. This is only aromatically. and topically we don't use that internally at all. And it's all about mood. Okay. So helping us to calm. It's like taking the Frankie and the lavender up a notch, but again, you can mix them together. I'm wondering actually if Balance has got, I'm pretty sure it has got Balance lavender, but I'm pretty sure it might have Frankie, but I could be lying. It is just perfect. Perfect for our bubbers, and it's already got fractionated coconut oil in it. So it's the one that I always, if I know I've got an anxious pup I'm working with, this is the one that I go to. Zengest or Digestin, it has a couple of names. Now, this is full of hot oil, so I want you to be careful with this. It can be used 3 ways. I don't necessarily use it for myself digestively, but others do in terms of internally, sorry. Definitely for digestion. So it's for anything from your neck to navel, and the same for your pups, anything to do with its little digestive tract. And these are all the beautiful things that it may help you with. It has a great selection. It's actually called a blend like Balance. So when we talk about our oils, some are just a straight oil like Frankie or lemon. Others are blends. So our Balance is a blend of a number of oils, and so is our Digestin. You can see in there, there's a lot of hot oils. So you want to be really careful with what you do use these for. But if you've got a pup that is gets motion sickness, this is one I'd really reach for. On Guard. Oh my goodness, you can't live without On Guard. This is our immune support oil. Again, lots of hot oils as well as the amazing wild orange, which is just joy bubbles. It's going to help you with immunity, respiratory function. It is also another one for bladder urinary tract infection. It may help with that, but this is your immunity blend. That's what I would want you to remember about this one. So you're off to the dog park. You might be wanting to do a little bit of a swipe with, make a rollerball up with a couple of drops of this and some fractionated coconut oil and swipe it down your pup's spine and do a bit of ear tipping before you take them into that park. That kind of thing. If you in a house and somebody has something going around, animal or human, this is a great one in the diffuser, and you can mix it up with something a little lighter if you find it a little bit too heavy. More wild orange fixes everything. Peppermint, again, hot oil, 3 ways. It's a strong one. 1 drop of this is equivalent to you drinking 28 cups of peppermint tea. That's how strong these babies are. So I think this is going to respiratory. It's great for headaches, discomfort. It's going to open up your airways if you're a human or a dog. Very good with focusing the mind. Can also help you with nausea, etc. That's why it's in Digestin. It'll help to repel bugs naturally. We use it around the house, especially ants. And also with lavender and lemon can help with allergies. Arthritis, joint pain with frankincense might help you with that as well. Lemon, she's a powerful cleansing agent, and you can use her 3 ways. I have her on my monthly order almost every month. I just use it everywhere. She's great for digestion, immune function, aches, pains, colds, flu, alerting your mood. She promotes a positive mood. She's a citrus, so she's uplifting. There's just a whole list. But lemon is, our citruses tend to be the less expensive oils, and she is such good value. And with 250 drops in these 15 ml bottles, you could just use her anywhere and everywhere. Eucalyptus, if you're an Aussie, you know all about eucalyptus. I have a healthy regard for this eucalyptus. Again, respiratory infections, aches, pains. She's so cleansing. You can use her in a spritzer bottle with your lemon for bedding, things like that. Absolutely gorgeous. You're not going to be ingesting eucalyptus, right? Now, copaiba is a bit special. If you've heard about CBD oil, copaiba is not CBD oil, but it can have it's got a similar chemistry, and it affects your CB2 receptors in a similar way. So it's very good for pain and longer term pain. So you can see all of the beautiful things that are on here for. She's very calming, very relaxing. As a human being, I use this for me. I take a capsule every night, And more I'm seeing people use a drop of copper in their puppy's food, which you can check out Dr. Janet and everything she says about that. So here we are. Oh gosh, I'm going to get faster. I think we're at our half an hour, so let's go. If you're interested in grabbing any of these oils, there's 3 ways to purchase into Terraline land. You can grab them retail, which is our most expensive, which means you can grab them from me or another wellness advocate. Normally, we only see that in a shop, but if you are absolutely not wanting to do it any other way, that is open. Wholesale. This is the way that I love to do it. If you're open to opening your own customer accounts like Costco, you pay a little fee up front and then you get access to 25% below retail. If you buy a starter kit, you get that waived. There's lots of ways for us to waive that $35 initial fee for you. Can weave some magic. But wholesale is definitely what I want people to do, because then you have control over your own world and you get product at the best price. You can also do wholesale and opt into our loyalty rewards program, which you can opt into whenever you're ready, opt out of if it's not working for you. But those that opt in are normally with it for quite some time. And this is the best way to get yourself free product. The best way to avoid that beautiful starter fee of $35 for that first year is to start with the kit. This is our Family Essentials Starter Kit. So what you've got are pure oils, and you've got them in this teeny bottle, which you can see the 2 comparisons, right? 75 drops in here, guys. So when I say teeny, that's a good start, 75 to 80 drops. You're going to get that. You get a little bubba fractionated coconut oil to get you started. You get lots of info, and you get me if you decide to come and join with us. So there's a HMF welcome pack gift with some wild orange, joy bubbles, and because this is all about dogs, while I've got them, I'm going to pop in the welcome pack a little dog reference guide. Can you see that? Yeah. And on the back's cat. So it's a perfect one to chuck on your fridge with a magnet. And you've got a little bit of a cheat sheet on some blends you can use with your pup. So that, excuse me, wholesale is 185. Where are we? We're in February 2024. So that's the price that's open now. Oh, free shipping. Anything over a certain point value, we get free shipping, and this is included. So anywhere in Australia, it's free shipping. Doesn't matter whether you're in the country or in the city, straight from our Australian warehouses. We've got one in Melbourne and one in Perth. If you're elsewhere, shipping, the prices, of course, can be different. These are AUD. If you're watching from Europe, Philippines, America, blah, 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 these prices will be different. But most, if not all of us, have access to one of these kits. Maybe slightly different oils, different price, but we can work that out by just talking to me or whoever's introduced you to the oils, because we've got HMF bods in a number of different countries. Home Essential Starter Pack, exactly the same deal, but instead of the smaller bottle, you've got the bigger. So you've got 250 drops coming your way. Free shipping again. And with those 2 packs, you get an ability to get some optional add-ons. And one of them is a diffuser. I've boxed the 2 diffusers that I would love you to think about. Lumo is a little bit more expensive than our Pedal 2.0, but they're both perfect. And if you're watching in Feb 24, these are at 40% off right now. So it's a good time to do it. But both of these diffusers are excellent. They both have just have a little look. They both have different 3 different settings. Lumo's got lots of different colored lights, you know, pink, green, and you can turn your lights off, while Pedal's just got light on, light off, but they're both gorgeous. And you get them at a decreased price if you do grab one of these kits. You can also add on a bottle of fractionated coconut oil, the big size, which I would recommend you grab. and it's at a decreased price. I'm going to give you a couple of roller bottles and things if you are with us, and I send you a welcome pack, which is great because you can create your own roller bottles, but you will find that there's a few little different bits and pieces Derek can sell if you want to make up your own. The cheapest way to start is with a simple solution starter pack. And again, it's free shipping. In the pack, you're going to get lemon, on guard, and lavender peace. So lemon and on guard, we've talked about. That's your cleansing, uplifting lemon loveliness. On guard, which is your immunity. Lavender peace is sleep. And I use lavender peace in the diffuser every night for me, just to get that kind of chilled out setting happening in our bedroom. So that's your third one. It's a blend, so it's a combo of different things. You can certainly use that in your diffuser for you and your pups. Ice Blue Rub. Now that is something that I just want you to use on humans rather than for legs. It's got some of those oils in it that we said not suitable for our puppies, but it's absolutely fab if you've got pain. So sore knee, sore back, sore hip, whatever's going on, pea-sized amount of that on you is going to definitely take some of that pain away. So that's our cheapest way to start. This is just a little picky that you can look at in your own. You can pause and ponder if you want, but you can also pick a mix. So these are the oils we've talked about. We've got squalene different oils. If you want to go retail, you can see the difference between retail and wholesale customer. And if we can get your points value up to 100 when we do your pick and mix, then you're going to get free postage, but also now you're going to get that membership fee waived. So there's a little bit of info. So we can start you that way as well. We can start you with one oil, right? And that's the way I started. You don't have to buy a batch. It just happens to be good value if you can start yourself off with a starter pack, because they discount them quite heavily on top of the normal 25% discount for that first purchase. So what's next? If you want oils in your home, you don't have them, please connect with the person who introduced you to Terra. If that's not possible or it's me, reach out. You can let me know, not in the chat because we're not live, but you can use any of these beautiful ways to contact me. You can also check out resources if you want to know more about pups. So there's me, Hearts, Minds and Flowers, which is my company, is there ready to go. Dr. Janet Rourke, who I talked about, she has this amazing resource for dogs and cats, because cats are a little bit more special. Blend ideas, different issues you might have, diffuser blends, how to make your dry shampoo, your muscle and joint rub, toothpaste, motion potion, and also has all sorts of info about the different systems and oils that you may not be able to use if your doggy has different issues. Oh, it's such an inexpensive resource. I think it was $20 US. But if you want to use your oils with your dogs and cats, I would recommend that. She's also on Facebook. In Oz, if you want to get roller bottles and things like that, Vitalia is who I use. But in wherever you are in the world, whichever state in Australia you're in, that I'm in Queensland, you're going to find a supplier that you can get your roller bottles and bits and pieces from. And if you're stuck, reach out and I'll find that for you. So that's it. All I can say to you guys is if you have got your oils and you're freaking out about using them with your pets, please don't. Please just get educated. Reach out to me, to Dr. Janet, to the resources you've seen. Don't freak out. Google is crazy. Use your common sense and get yourself educated. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to use your oils. If you haven't got any oils in your life yet, I would be so privileged to introduce you to whatever's right for you, your family, 2- and 4-legged. Just reach out. I'm going to stop now because I did say half an hour and I think I've gone over. Big love to all of you. I hope to hear from you. Message me anytime and happy oiling from me and my little friend. Now I'm just going to work out how to stop this damn recording. I can never do these things. See you later.